Welcome on in, everybody. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be going through my draft grades for my top 10 wide receivers in the NFL draft for this season. This has been a highly anticipated video for myself for a while now, and I'm very excited to be able to get into this with all of you guys. If you guys are excited for this, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe down below. It is free. Most of the people that watch these videos are not actually subscribed, so if you see this video, you like it, you like my rankings, you disagree, you agree, whatever that may be, feel free to talk with me down in the comments below. Like the video, dislike, however you're feeling. But let's get right into this as we get to my number 10 wide receiver, and that is going to be Chris Brazile II. Coming out of Tennessee, he's going to be my fringe number 10 option. There was a couple of options that I thought about putting for here. Chris Bell was definitely up there. There's a couple of other ones. There was what's his name? Out of Missouri, a wide receiver out of Missouri. I'm forgetting the name now. Something. He's a junior. But for Chris Brazile, mostly what ended up putting him over the top for me to get him this 10th ranking was his frame. 6'5", 200. You talk about the speed as well. He's got some decent speed, although he does lack some of the run after catch ability, the main catch and traffic points, the catch radius. For his frame, it's something that he can work on. This is kind of where the pro comp comes from, the Christian Watson pro comp. He has the great speed that's needed, that speed, that excel, that agility. He lacks the change of direction, the play strength. Very similar player to Christian Watson, you know, as a comp, but at the same time has to work on some of these things in the same way that Watson does for the NFL. If he can, I could see him reaching that Christian Watson level. I could see him being an even better receiver than that. But mostly the impact grade that you see on there, in addition to the potential grade, the impact grade is kind of the floor. Potential grade is kind of the ceiling, and the overall grade is how I graded him in comparison to all the other receivers in this class. He is only 22 years old, played 4 years, I believe, only at Tennessee, and do project him rounds 3 to 4. I'll talk a little bit more about some of the things. The route running is fine, with a little bit to be desired when it comes to the short routes. Intermediately, I did see that he was running some pretty consistent routes. The release can be worked on. Like I said earlier, the run after catch, you know, for a speed threat, he doesn't have much run after catch, and he's got to be able to work on that. He's able to catch the ball pretty reliably, whether that's in traffic, you know, he's pretty reliable. Like, his hands are fine, C grade overall. But there's definitely some things left to be desired when it comes to a receiver like Chris Brazile. So that is kind of where I lean with him. He's a fringe top 10 wide receiver in this class for me. I know a lot of people have others ranked above him. But for me, he is my wide receiver number 10. And I do somewhat like him. As I said before, he's comped to Christian Watson, so I do think he can get to that level one day. That's my face. As I meant to go to wide receiver number 9 on my list. Honestly, I thought about not even including Zachariah Branch at first. And then I went into his tape. And if you guys have not seen Zachariah Branch tape yet, you need to go see it, because he is awesome. There is some massive glares within, like, his ability as a player, but he has some of the highest potential in this class, right up there with Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, and Makai Lemon. Like, his potential is sky high from the time he was playing at USC to transferring to Georgia. He has all the speed in the world, all the excel in the world, all the agility in the world. The change of direction as well, really great. Run after catch, you expect for a speed threat, you know, like talking to you, Chris Brazile, to be able to run after the catch. The hands aren't too reliable, but when he is getting the ball, he is able to run a decent amount after the catch. My pro comp for him would be Jerry Jeudy. I kind of see some of the shades people are throwing around. They said Mecole Hardman in there. There's a couple of people that were saying Kadarius Toney. I can see that. I went for a little bit of a higher level comp. I comped him to Jerry Jeudy. A couple of people were saying that. And I do project him from rounds 3 to 4. I think at the latest you'll end up seeing him go round 5, but round 3 to 4 is where I have him valued. And he's about 0.20 overall higher than a receiver like Chris Brazile, but if I'm having to pick between the two of them, I'm taking Zachariah Branch all day, just for potential. The biggest glare for him, obviously outside of these grades, is whether he's a gadget player or an actual wide receiver and what he's going to do fundamentally in the NFL. I know that's a question you see coming out for a lot of these guys. Cole Hardman, mostly used in that gadget role. Kadarius Toney, the same. Gadget players should not be selected in any of the early rounds. So that applies to Zachariah Branch as well. You don't want to see him end up getting selected real early and then only being used in a gadget role. So, but the frame is definitely something that leaves to be desired, the 5'10", 180. But he is a speed threat, so it kind of is consistent with his athletic tools down there. Play strength, obviously he's not playing that high play strength. He is a smaller guy, so the hands aren't anything special. The catch radius is small for his frame itself. I believe he has some smaller arms. Run blocking is nothing crazy, but a lot of the receivers you'll see in this class do not have good running blocking grades. Only like the top 3 do. So the long routes are great. The release is one of the worst things that he does. Like, he is kind of hard to get off when the quarterback snaps the ball. Like, it may take him a minute. He may get caught up in a route. I've seen a couple of things happen where that is kind of how he ends up playing. There's just a lot of things overall to his grade. And when we're talking about him in comparison to going back here and looking at Chris Brazell, I feel like even the floor might be a little bit higher for Brazell. But if you're picking anybody, obviously you're taking the guy with the potential of 90, like potential of being a star. Do I see him being a number 1 one day? It is a possibility. People have comped him, saying if he beefed up, he could be a DK Metcalf level type of guy. I personally don't see it. I think DK is more of a hands, like a coordinated hands guy, a guy that can dice up some DBs and a route run. Not as much of a speed threat, but I could see him working on things and being on that level one day if he beefed up. Like, there's a lot of things that would have to happen where, and he's got to prove that in the NFL, he's not just a gadget player. It's really important. Although he is only 22 years old, played for 3 years total in college, I am excited to see where Zachariah Branch's career ends up going, and it really does depend what team decides to pick him and how they end up developing him. See, I could see him going to a team like the Los Angeles Chargers, and I could see him being a decent wide receiver. Now, if he goes to a team like the Green Bay Packers, I do not see him being developed very nicely because they're not good at developing their speed threats too good. Outside of, I don't know if you want to consider Christian Watson one or Jaden Reed. But yeah, they're not the best at developing receiver in my opinion. So it really does depend on the landing spot, and it depends on, he could be somewhere in the middle. He could be an average wide receiver 3. He could be, released within a year. The sky's the limit for Zachariah Branch, but also the bottom. He could reach rock bottom. But anyways, on to our next receiver. This next receiver that we're going to end up talking about is Elijah Surratt. And if you guys watch the Indiana offense this year, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about with Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper Jr., who is also in my top 10. Elijah Surratt is awesome. Most of the time, though, when I was looking at the tape, I was mostly looking towards Omar Cooper's way, but Elijah Surratt also made a lot of great plays, and he is a very well-rounded player. Projected rounds 2 to 3, I really like the pro comp of Jacoby Myers, and I think that is kind of his ceiling. That's where he could end up going, and I don't think it's insane to say that he does end up going there. Jacoby Myers is a very nice comp for him. Rounds 2 to 3, like I said. The impact rate, he has a decent floor and a fine ceiling. Nothing crazy. I could see it being closer to like an 83, 84, maybe. But I really do like Elijah Surratt, and I'm a big fan of him. Originally, I didn't like him too much. I didn't actually like this receiver class too much, and then I started delving into it, and I'm like, all right, I even like some of the guys who I'm not talking about today in this video. Like I said before with Chris Bell and several others, there's even Skylar Bell in this draft. I'm not sure. I may be thinking of a previous season, but there is so much talent at receiver in this class. I compared this receivers class to last year's running back class, where going all the way down, it has talent. Like, you could be picking up a guy in the 7th round and be getting great value on that talent. I feel like the running back class with, Ollie Gordon, Marion Hampton, everybody, Ash Genty in that class, Cam Scatterbo, Quinshon Judkins, Trey Henderson, it was fun. Now, it wasn't the best of all time, but it was very unique, and it was one of the better ones. And it was deep. That's what matters too. Being able to find these receivers late is very helpful for a team such as, the Las Vegas Raiders that are really looking deep for a receiver. The Cleveland Browns are looking for a receiver. The Miami Dolphins are now looking for somebody to pair up with Jalen Waddle with losing Tyreek Hill. So for teams out there looking for a receiver, this is your draft class, no doubt. Anyways, we get into it. The speed leaves a little bit to be desired, but he is a bit of a quicker player. His excel is decent. The agility is nothing to boast about, and the play strength can definitely be worked on, especially for his size. He is 6'2", 213. So him playing that bit, he's a decently tall guy, a bit bigger. With being 213, good frame. He should be able to work on things such as the play strength, and the agility can be worked on over time since he is somewhat of a decent speed receiver. But the same thing should be talked about, say he ends up bulking up or something, the catch in traffic can go up. A lot of the things that are Elijah Surratt's weak points could be worked on, and he could be an even better receiver. I honestly kind of wish I tuned the grade up for him a little bit, but this is where I ended up landing on him. Just being my wide receiver 8 in the class, a guy with a solid floor and a solid ceiling, but nothing crazy. I could see him starting off as a wide receiver 3 in the NFL, eventually one day being decent 2. Nothing crazy, but in the same way Jakobi Meyers was playing when Devontae Adams was on the team, I could see that being an Elijah Surratt. So, but the hands are very nice for the frame. That makes sense. He's probably beating a decent amount of DBs out. So, with the hands, with the length, and the size of the frame. But like I said before, the catch in traffic, and if you're looking at the route running as well, talking about the long routes, he's got to be able to work on that, especially with the speed. These are all things that he can work on and potentially grow with, but the potential grade is where I leave him at with an 80. He starts to get into this kind of good receivers tier to me, 6.45. If you're wondering what the grading is for it, I can leave it down in the description below if anybody has questions on it. But 6.45, a perfect score for me for receiver, quarterback, tight end, anything. It's an 8.0. And I'm changing the grading modeling from this year to last year, so if you look at players and start to compare them, don't look into it too much. You may see that somebody in this class, like an Elijah Surratt, is rated higher than a receiver that I did last year, or you may end up seeing when I did the quarterbacks one, something's changed around, where it's this quarterback should not be rated higher than this one. This one played for an FBS school. How is he rated higher than, say, I don't even know, Jackson Dart or something like that? Well, you will be able to see why, because I've changed the grading scale around, basically giving players like this a bit of a bump. Instead of them being a high 5, they're instead a bit of a low 6. So, but that's all I really have to say about Elijah Surratt. A fun, dynamic receiver who doesn't do anything particularly amazing, but he does a whole lot of things really well. So I like him out of Indiana, and I like watching his tape. As we get to my wide receiver 7, this is going to be Casey Conception time. And I do have a lot to say on Casey Conception. I went into the tape really not liking him, and I came out liking him a little bit more than I did previously, but still seeing a lot of glaring weak points for him. As you can see from the grades, it looks like he does a whole lot of things well. As I said before, the run block grade for a lot of these receivers is not good. What particularly turns me off to Casey Conception is that frame. He gets compared to a couple of kind of speed threat receivers. Talk about Mecole Hardman. I feel like he could be a better version of Mecole Hardman. I feel like a lot of Texas A&M fans really like him. Like I said before, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I do rate him higher than several receivers in this class. As we get to it, like I said before, the 5'11", 190 frame kind of turns me off, but he is only 21 years old. I'm not sure if he turns 22 before the draft ends up happening, but played for 3 years, I believe only at Texas A&M. Rounds 2 to 3 is where he's expected to go. I could see him going as a high second rounder, or I could see him going and falling all the way down to the 3rd round. But I do think the floor is pretty decent for a wide receiver like Casey Conception, unlike Elijah Surratt. Well, the floor is pretty safe for him, but it's a bit higher for Casey Conception. 75 impact grade with a potential grade of 83. I like his potential in the NFL, but also there's going to be a couple things he's got to get over. The run blocking is piss poor. I almost gave it an F grade, which is, I've never given a receiver a single F grade, or any player that I've graded an F grade, but I really did think about giving Casey Conception an F. I did not. I gave him a D-. He got no points really in his standings for that. I believe it was 0.5 added to his overall grade. But then the play strength, I mean, you can see for him being a smaller guy, a couple of things don't work out well for him. Obviously, he's got the speed, but the hands in traffic, the catch radius, the hands, and that play strength are piss poor. Watching it, I wanted to lower his grades even more, but I wanted to also be able to include him within the top 10. So I'm like, all right, I'll go through this. I'm like, all right, you know, this is fine. This checks off enough boxes, so I'm gonna keep it as is. Obviously, but if you're talking about some of the higher points with him, we don't talk about the run blocking and whatever, the play strength, you know. Obviously, those are things that he can work on, just like many of the receivers in this class. They're young guys. They have time to be able to develop and grow. The speed, the excel, the agility, and the change of direction were all really fun to watch. He's ending up beating DBs over the top. That's why I compare him to Cole Hardman. Like, that speed is definitely there. There's no question about that. And then the route running was really decent as well. Like, I thought the short routes could have even been higher. I could have graded that a little higher, but the B+ on the intermediate routes, he runs those intermediates well. You see that he has the speed for them. The long routes should definitely be worked on because he does have the speed to be able to make plays on those. But then the release too. The release was really good. With his speed, that makes sense that he gets off the ball really quickly. So for a wide receiver like Casey Concepcion, I could see a couple of teams stealing him in a later round, third round or second round, and being like, all right, yeah, he's a pretty decent fit to, say, the Denver Broncos or something like that. I'm like, all right, I can see how he can kind of fit into this offense. We'll see how it ends up working out. Or I'm trying to think, what would another good team be for him? Maybe a team even like the Minnesota Vikings. I could see him fitting in there well as a wide receiver 3, 4 type, fighting a training camp battle with Ty Felton. I could see that. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about Casey Concepcion. The frame does worry me a little bit, and the play strength, run blocking, hands, catching traffic, some of the route running lefts leaves a little bit to be desired. But overall, I do like Casey Concepcion more than I thought I would. I thought I would have him as like a wide receiver 8, wide receiver 9. But no, wide receiver 7, and he was kind of on the fringe of it. Thought about including him as a wide receiver 6. So that is all I have to say about him. As we then get to my wide receiver 6, and that is Germie Bernard out of Alabama. He does get the credit because he played for Alabama. Yes, a lot of receivers that come out of Alabama turn into really good receivers in the NFL. Got Devontae Smith here, Calvin Ridley, plenty of others. Jerry Jeudy has even turned into a decent receiver. Jalen Waddle. We could talk about them all day. But at the same time, Germie Bernard, not as high as those Alabama receivers, but still pretty decent. I have him 0.5 graded over Casey Concepcion, so two similar receivers, and the things that they, how they excel in certain areas and then kind of bottom out in other areas. So, but for him, he's kind of almost the opposite of Casey Concepcion. He's a bit of a slower guy. He doesn't have crazy speed, crazy excel, crazy agility, but he does have great play strength, and he has great hands, great catch of traffic, a good frame at 6'1", 204. Nothing to boast about, but at the same time, still a very nice frame. And he does really remind me a lot of Jarvis Landry. Watching the tape, I was like, damn, kind of does end up playing like him. He's more shifty, Jarvis Landry, more kind of, I wouldn't say slot-based, but I would say, like, if you're comping, like, Jarvis Landry in his earlier seasons, I would definitely say Germie Bernard is like a copy right there. But at the same time, he is his own receiver, so. But the impact grade, basically the floor, 69 overall, very nice. But nothing crazy. Alright floor, could be better. But the potential right there is insane. I could see a team taking him as a wide receiver 4, just letting him sit around for a while, and then him eventually turning into a nice wide receiver 2 for their squad. Like I said, the hands, probably some of the best that I've seen in the class. Really great hands. The catch and traffic is great. For the frame, he even plays above where he should be, with the catch and traffic and the play strength, and then the hands as well. Like, he's playing better. And then speed is kind of a hard thing for players to work on. He's only as fast as he can be. But if he can work on that, the change of direction is already there. Just needs to be able to excel a little bit better, have greater agility. It's kind of hard to work on that. Say, can you work on this? No, not really for a receiver. But then the catch and traffic is really nice as well. And the catch radius is fine. The run after catch, it's fine. It's actually pretty good for a receiver that doesn't have too much in the speed department. And then the run blocking, like I said, for many other receivers, it's not too good. For him, it's actually one of the higher ones in the class, C+. So fine for him. Can always work on that at the next level. Then the short routes, definitely the best thing he runs. Outside of that, the long routes are surprisingly good for his speed. Then the intermediate is some of the worst. I've seen a couple routes where he's running and just getting totally beat up by linebackers and DBs throughout the middle, just not really able to run the routes with the same juice that he does on a short route or even sometimes on a long route. But the release is also really good. The get off on some of the plays for him is really nice for his speed. And overall, I do like Jeremy Bernard, as well as I'm going to talk about a lot of receivers in this class, more than I thought I would going in. Thought I would have Jeremy Bernard rated a lot lower. I did not. Same as Casey Conception, kind of have them right around nearly a 6B, 6A tier, but like this close. I was like, I like Jeremy Bernard a little bit better just because one thing is that he played at Alabama. I think hands is a very important thing to have, because you can have all the speed in the world. You can be a Zachariah Branch with all the speed, but then you can have the hands of a Casey Conception, not too reliable with the frame, and you could be absolutely horrible because you're beating DBs on route, but you're not catching the ball. I feel like you'd rather be a sure-handed receiver with some speed issues than be really fast and not be able to catch anything. And you'd be playing like Marquez Valdez-Scantling out there, which was also a comp for Zachariah Branch. So as we continue to move on, we will look to my wide receiver number 5, who has been rated really high by a couple people, and he gets like, he's up 0.20 from my last receiver. So obviously I think of Omar Cooper in a pretty positive light as well. I like Omar Cooper. As I've said many times, a lot more than receivers I've seen in this class, and I project him right at round 2. I don't think he's a round 3 talent. I think this is a guy that this kind of starts getting into the tier where you can see them being a wide receiver 1 one day. This is a very fringe wide receiver 1 role. This would be like putting, say, a Devontae Smith or a Jalen Waddle and forcing them to be the 1. I do see Omar Cooper working better as a bit of a type of guy that you put over and have him playing your wide receiver 2 role. But I think if you threw him in as a wide receiver 1, I think you'd see a dominant season in fantasy football. 2, I think you would see a decent season as an NFL receiver, say a DJ Moore, when they put him on the Bears. He was out there kind of by himself with not the best talent around him, but, he was making things work. He was looking pretty good. That is kind of what I think of when I think of Omar Cooper. So DJ Moore, definitely a good comp for him too. And we get into some of the things. The speed is very nice, but he's also got great hands as well. Like, this is overall a pretty well-rounded receiver with a couple of things to work on, but all of the traits in the world to be able to be a top 25 receiver in the NFL. I think that's easy to say, top 25, 30, in the future, not in his rookie season. A- speed, B+ excel, very nice, very fast. Change of direction is really nice as well. The play strength can be worked on, but for his frame, 6 feet and 204, he can definitely work on that, work on bulking up a little bit possibly if need be for a team. Agility's fine. The hands are really nice. The catch of traffic is good. The catch radius could be worked on a little bit, but then the run after catch is really great, which makes sense for his speed. As we talk about the run blocking, not the best, but one of the better ones in the class with a C. For the route running department, it leaves a little bit to be desired. On the short routes, he's able to get off fast, be able to get there. But you would expect with the speed and excel, he'd be able to play at least nice on the intermediate routes, which is the second best thing that he does for route running. He's fine. Nothing really that good. I don't really like what I saw from the intermediate routes. I would more see kind of Elijah Surratt ending up winning out on those medium routes. So, or I would see some other player, Fernando Mendoza, trying to make a play to one of the other receivers on the team. But then we get to his long routes. Long routes can be worked on as well for the speed. And then the release. The get off is very quick for him, which makes sense based on that speed. So, then we talk about him. I think a team getting him as a floor, if you need to throw him in there as your wide receiver too early, he's going to struggle. He's definitely going to have his struggles. But I do see him one day being a solid receiver in the NFL with the comp to DJ Moore. And like I said before, we're starting to get into the fringe, guys that could be number 1. So Omar Cooper is kind of the start of that with an 85 overall potential grade and 85 overall ceiling. So like I said, I do like Omar Cooper. I literally never heard of him before going into draft tape and checking him out. And I really like the fact that I did, because I was looking at Elijah Surratt tape first, and I was like, who's Omar Cooper and why is he catching all the touchdowns for Indiana? This was Fernando Mendoza's guy. He helped him out throughout the season, and he's part of one of the reasons why they were able to win a national championship. So I like Omar Cooper a lot. Frame's fine, speed is nice, excel is nice, hands are nice, whole lot of things to like about him. Dude, why is everyone talking shit on Denzel Boston. All I have seen in this draft is him move down further and further down people's draft boards. I think it must be draft fatigue at this point, because I went through the tape and I was seeing how some people were talking about it, and they were saying Omar Cooper is better than Denzel Boston. I had them ranked really similarly at first, and they're still 0.5 apart. But I'm looking at Denzel Boston's tape. I'm saying, how in the hell are you ranking him above Omar Cooper Jr.? Look at the frame. Look at 6'4", 210. This dude is another Tetairoa McMillan. Whatever team gets him is getting a stud. He is not as good as Tetairoa McMillan, I'm going to say. An ASU, or not ASU receiver, an AU, Arizona U receiver that went, top 10 or whatever it was, to the Carolina Panthers. Like, he's a beast, and you got to give him his flowers for the season that he had. But Denzel Boston, if anything, reminds me of a Tetairoa McMillan clone. Like, that is how he plays. Getting into it, the speed, very, very nice for his frame. Sometimes these receivers with these big frames, you don't expect them to actually be as fast as they are, but Denzel Boston plays pretty damn fast. I was watching some of the tape for Washington, man, and he is probably the most fun Washington receiver since Rome Odunze came out, since Ja'Lynn Polk came out. Ja'Lynn Polk, man, he looked a lot better when he was playing for Washington. And then since the Bucs receiver as well, I'm totally McMillan, another McMillan. Forgetting his name now, but since all those guys, Jalen McMillan, that's who it is, Jalen McMillan. Okay, since all of those guys came out of Washington, he is the best one I've seen since Rome Odunze, and he's just so fun to watch, man. I mean, for the frame too, you expect him to have nice hands. He's got great hands. He's got great catch in traffic, great catch radius with the 6'4", 210 frame. The run after catch could be a little bit quicker for his speed. The run after catch, a couple of things definitely need to be improved upon, but I think with the speed, he can get some excel down. He can get some burst to his game. As long as he's got that speed, that B+ speed, man, it leaves all the room in the world for him to be able to get up on his run after catch. As long as he's getting the ball, he's able to move a little bit shiftier. He's a bit faster. This is a guy that I could see, I don't know, I love him as a number 2, like a high-end number 2, but if he needed to, you could thrust him into number 1 role, and I think he would play pretty damn good. Say you throw him on, I don't even know, the San Francisco 49ers. Say you throw him there, it's a pretty nice fit overall. Already a pretty nice fit to San Fran. But you have him out there running the routes with, Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle. I can see him being pretty nice. I like Denzel Boston and a team like him. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Definitely been talks about him going there. I like him on a couple teams. But getting into some of the other things, yes, the run after catch needs some work. The run blocking needs work. As many of these receivers need to work on that run blocking. That's going to be very important, especially with the 6'4", 210 frame. I feel like that won't be hard for him to kind of get a little bit better at that. But the short routes are really awesome. Some of the best I've seen in the class, honestly. The intermediate routes are fine. The long routes are really good. Even for his speed, he's running really good long routes. And the release, the get off was solid. Nothing insane. Decent release. You would like to see that be a little bit better, but he's still 6'4", 210, so he's not going to be able to get off that as quick as you'd like. I see him going rounds 1 to 2. I see him easily being a lock for the first round, but depending on how it goes, could see him falling down to the second round. 22 years old, 4 years in college, played primarily at Washington, and 88 potential grade is some of the highest in the class. So I say the sky is the limit for Denzel Boston. Has to work on a couple of these things. It'll be really important to shaping his game for the future. But overall, really like him a lot, and the 6.80 grade is definitely deserved. As we get to Jordan Tyson, ASU receiver coming out. Last year we had Cam Skattebo, and you can kind of compare some of the things that Skattebo did really well to some of the things that Tyson does really well, although 2 different players, 2 different positions. Jordan Tyson, man, he's young. He is 21 years old. People are talking about this dude like he is cooked, but obviously we have the little plus sign there because injuries have been his biggest problem. But I think outside of that, I mean, obviously injuries are a real concern when it comes to being drafted into the NFL at this point, and it is fair that you're going to be able to look out for injuries and be like, all right, this guy, all right, he gets injured a lot. I don't know if he can be our number 1. Jordan Tyson, like the past few guys I've talked about, I could really see he's the first receiver where I could see him being a number one, no doubt in my mind. I could see him being a Chris Olave, which is his pro comp for myself. But I think having him as a wide receiver too on a team like even like the Miami Dolphins, who are looking for that guy right now, having him be a wide receiver too on the New York Jets, where they have a Garrett Wilson, man, he would be dynamic. It would be like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. It would be like, I don't even know who else is there. It would be like Tyreek and Jalen when they were playing together. Like, it would be really great. He's a round one receiver. I would have even put him into top conversations. I don't know where he goes. I do see him falling. He could fall to the late end of round one. But even say a team like the Buffalo Bills takes him and is looking for that number one, he can be that number one. He can be that number one, especially in Joe Brady's offense, man. Getting into some of the things I like about him. The frame is really nice. It's 6'2", 200 frame. Can be worked on a little bit. Could beef up a little bit. But I like the overall pro comp of Chris Olave because the things that Chris Olave does really well, Jordan Tyson does really well as well. So the hands, the catch and traffic, some of the best in the entire class. The A minus there for catch and traffic and catch radius. He plays bigger than he is. Like, he's out there 6'2", 200, but he's catching the ball with like such a great catch radius, like over DBs, and I seen him like Sam Leavitt didn't really throw him a lot of great balls this season. Like, he threw him some decent ones, but with some stuff to be desired there, and he was still able to catch like everything thrown his way with the hands and the catch and traffic and the catch radius grades right there. So a very surefire receiver, very reliable. I could even see him being ranked higher than this wide receiver role, but I did like the top two guys a little bit better than I liked Jordan Tyson. So then we get into some of the things. The speed, very nice for his size, very good, just like Denzel Boston. The excel good. The agility is amazing. The change of direction, that shiftiness that you see out of Jordan Tyson, it's not bad for a guy of his size. In fact, it's surprisingly good for a guy of his size. The play strength is a C. He needs to be able to work on that, and the run blocking is a C. Two of the worst things that he does, but outside of that, those are two very small grades. And he's just overall really nice. I thought about even throwing him into 7.0, having him begin to get into that kind of great tier, but I decided to leave him with the 6.95. He gets dropped because of the injury concerns and the bit of the smaller size that he is. But who cares about a small size when he's playing like he's like 6'5", 250, you know? Like, he is insane. So, and I do think the pro comp of Chris Olave, as I've stated like 5 times now, is a really good one. Could even see him and Olave playing together. You know, you could see him getting picked up by the Saints, and I think that would be another type of conversation where we're like, all right, he's going to be an awesome wide receiver too. So, really like Jordan Tyson. If you're thinking about fantasy football as well, I really like him for the future. No matter what team he goes to, I think he's going to be nice. The short routes are really nice. It's one of the best things he does. The long routes are great. Even for his speed, he's playing faster. The release is great, and the intermediate is another thing he's got to work on. But look at this receiver overall. Very well balanced, very nice. Really, really like Jordan Tyson in this class. And although I did say he falls for the injury concerns, I would still easily pick him round 1. I would still easily pick him in the top 10. No doubt in my mind. Just got to watch out for those injury problems. As we get over to Makai Lemon, USC receiver, and we're starting to get into that grade tier with a 7.20 grade for Makai Lemon. A lot of people will be like, oh, why don't you have him as a wide receiver 1 in this class? Because there's a guy that's better ahead of him. Are you kidding me? There's no way that he is the number 1 receiver in this class. Love him. Love the grade that I have for him. If he turns out like a JSN or an Amon-Ra St. Brown, you can sue me. All right? But the 5'11", 195 frame does cause some concerns. I know the NFL at this point kind of likes these smaller slot receivers. I really do too. That's why I like Lemon. I didn't even have him graded as a top 5 receiver prior to like looking into some of his tape. But then I started to watch things, and he is maybe the most well-balanced receiver in this class. He does not really do a thing bad in the same way that Jordan Tyson does. But Makai Lemon doesn't really have injury concerns, so that's why I grade him higher, like a decent amount higher too. And I think the potential is there to be a JSN level receiver, to be an Amon-Ra St. Brown level receiver. Potential is there. Obviously, the biggest thing that scares you is the 5'11", 195 frame. We'll have to see how he does at the combine. It's all going on right now. But the speed, man. Whew. Watch some of his tape. At USC, he is killing DBs with the speed. The excel, fucking amazing, man. I honestly wanted to grade him even higher. I wanted to give him A+, but look how many A's are across the board for Makai Lemon. A B+ on the change of direction. He is shifting. The play strength with the size, you expect that. A B-. The run blocking needs to be worked on. These are small things, man. Very small things. The hands are really nice. Really, really nice for a receiver of his size. He plays better than you would end up expecting him to play. And I am sorry if the music in the background is a little bit too loud. I'm not sure. I believe it should be fine, but I'll double check that in post-process. Then the run after catch, absolutely amazing. And the catch radius, man, he is 5'11", 195, and in the same way as Tyson, playing bigger than that. Absolutely amazing receiver. Really like Makai Lemon a lot more than I did at the beginning of draft season, or like kind of midway through when people started talking about him a lot. I'm like, who the fuck is Makai Lemon? Why is his last name Lemon? And then I looked at his tape. I'm like, holy shit, this guy might just be a mini JSN. He might just be a mini Amon St. Brown. As we get into some other things, short routes are great. He ices up defensive backs and linebackers all day long. The intermediate routes are great, and the long routes are something that you want to work on, especially with the speed. If he can clean up on the long routes, this might be tied for the best receiver in the class right there with my number one guy. So, as I've said, love Makai Lemon. The release is right there. B+. He's able to get off the ball really quick. And any team that ends up getting him is getting a playmaker. There's no doubt about it. With a 95 overall potential grade, he is a future stud in the NFL, and I'm really excited to see what team picks him. The scheme is going to be very important, but I really want to see which team picks him, just to kind of see what, how exactly he's going to be able to fit onto the team and stuff, like where he's going to be playing. Is he going to be that instant number one, which I know he can be? This is a guy that can easily be a number one. Or is he going to kind of fill into a wide receiver 2 role for now? We'll see what happens later. So, just some of the concerns and some of the questions with him. Like I said before, the frame leaves a bit to be desired, but outside of that, this is a very, very well-rounded wide receiver. Now think about this. You get a player like T. Higgins in the top 5, but he's juiced up. He's got better hands. He's got better catch radius. He plays bigger than his size, but he's already 6'3", 195. That is exactly what you're getting when you get Carnell Tate. And, I'm a decent fan of T. Higgins. I know when you think of him, you're not thinking of anything crazy. But Carnell Tate is like him, but juiced up. Carnell Tate is probably one of my favorite receivers that I've watched in the past several years, and it's not because he's the best of the best or anything. I've seen receivers better than him. I've seen Jeremiah Smith as I was watching Ohio State tape, who played better than him. But who cares? This is the number one in this class, and I have him ranked above Makai Lemon for the measurables. The 6'3", 195. This is a big dude. And this is a dude that plays even bigger than his size with the catch radius, as I've said for the past few receivers. But unlike the receivers before him, this is a completely different receiver. The route running is the thing that ends up leaving a bit to be desired. But outside of that, look across the board for him. The A+ hands. He's one of the only receivers that I give A+ hands to. I think maybe only one other got A+ hands out of all the receivers in this class. Carnell Tate, right up there. The catch in traffic is amazing. You expect that for a 6'3", 195 frame. Top 5 value for him, no doubt about it. It's right there with Makai Lemons. I rated him top 15. And then the impact grade, look, he's only 0.5 higher than Makai Lemon. So I was really neck and neck with these guys, but it came down to the size. Obviously, an 8.0 is my perfect rating for a player like this. He's not close to that, but, that's okay. There's been much better wide receiver ones in classes before than Carnell Tate. Even going back to his teammate, Marvin Harrison Jr., I want to say I had him rated up there as like a 7.8 or something. He was insane coming out. But Carnell Tate is going to be a reliable wide receiver for you. I can see him. I would say give him a little bit of time, have him play as your number 2 for a bit. But say he gets drafted to a team like the Titans and becomes the instant number 1, I could see his actually succeeding on a team like the Tennessee Titans and being a really nice option for Cam Ward to be able to throw the ball to. I really love Carnell Tate. I love watching his tape. The speed is really decent. He's not as fast as a couple of the other guys in this class, but it doesn't matter. He's got all the excel in the world, so even if he doesn't get off the ball too quick, he's able to accelerate down the field, beat DBs with his hands, beat DBs with the catch radius, catch the ball in traffic. I've seen it several times in the tape. The play strength is all right there, and the run after catch could be a little bit faster for his speed, and so could the agility. Kind of some things that he could work on, but he is also the receiver with the best run blocking in this class, and that counts for something. When teams are looking at these guys, they're going to say, all right, Carnell Tate is one of the best run blockers. All right, our offensive line isn't doing the best, so when we're getting a receiver for a team like, say, the Cleveland Browns, who don't even have an offensive line right now, they're all mostly free agents, a guy like Carnell Tate, they might even be considering more over Makai Lemon, because they're like, all right, he knows how to run block. And then he's got surefire hands. Like, this guy can be our number one day one. Get him out there playing as your number one for the Browns, for a bunch of teams, man. For I was gonna say multiple teams that have wide receiver ones, but like, he's right there with them. Like, he could be playing, and he could be playing up to Garrett Wilson's level or Chris Olave's level, or like, obviously not in year one, but eventually he's gonna be that dynamic second guy that you're throwing the ball to. So biggest thing you want to worry about is obviously that run after catch could be improved upon. The agility is a bit slow. I don't really like that. I don't like those two things. I would have graded him a whole lot higher if they were higher. And the route running is really low as well. The long routes are good, which makes sense. He has the speed for it. But the release and the get off should be a little bit quicker, which is something he struggles with the low agility level. So just a couple of things you got to look at. Short routes, you got to expect them to be faster, but the get off isn't that fast, so he's not running these short routes too fast in the end. When he's getting to the intermediate part of the field, he's got good excel, so he's able to get there, and he's got a good grade for that, somewhat decent with B-. But the long routes is really where he succeeds in. So, but yeah, that was, I don't know, that kind of fell fast, but there we go. That for 2026 and the NFL draft, that is going to be my top 10 wide receivers. If you guys want to hear about my honorable mentions, I do have their grades as well. I have Chris Bell's grade, a couple of other wide receivers that I checked out in this class. This was a really, really fun wide receiver class to check out. I hope you guys all enjoyed my takes on them. Obviously, these are my own takes. You can feel free to disagree with them if you do not. But yeah, like I said, really like Carnell Tate, really like Makai Lemon, really like Tyson, like a bunch of receivers in this class. Even Denzel Boston is interesting to me. If he's, is he a clone of Tetairoa McMillan? I don't know. Kind of feels like one to me. But that is actually going to be all for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed, I hope you guys will check out some more of my videos. And yeah, it took a while to put this all together, so if you really did like it, please like down below. And that is going to be the end. I will see you guys all for my next one. That is going to be the quarterback rankings, and the draft is coming up soon. It's draft season all day long, baby. You're going to see more mock drafts going on, more player rankings, probably a 3-round mock coming out soon. So yeah, very, very exciting stuff. And I will talk to you guys all for the quarterback rankings video. I'll see you guys then, and peace.